all, you know, all the green candidates for office. Yeah, it's very possible. Yes, that the incineration of garbage is now available, and the military that feels a need to, well, relocate any of its employees, yeah, they can just tell me where they want to move to. Yeah, I'll buy the property and they can lease it from me. Yeah. Then after 20 years, they can have paid for the property for myself, and if they want to re-up their lease, yeah, they can. Or I'll sell it and I'll keep all the money for myself. Now I have 1 cent today. Yes. And I'm concerned that somebody is refusing to acknowledge the laws of the United States. And when I inform you of a crime, yeah, you seem to think that you're going to just cover all this up. Yes. And that the military doesn't have any legal obligation for the enforcement of the laws. Now, this Dodd-Frank Act, yes, where you issue court orders, right, and then you falsified my driver's license, right, and you're going to garnish my wages, right, and I can't get employment anywhere, and that means I can't consume anything, yes, where you're just going to make it so that I have no money. Well, I'm going to have to make some money today, and the military is going to have to agree to what I say. So, for all the very important individuals in the employment of the United States military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and the National Guard, yes, if you decide that you want to relocate any of your employees, you just tell me. Now, for the last 2.5 years, I've been emailing those in the Criminal Investigative Division of the United States Army, yes, and you kept telling them that they had no jurisdiction to enforce the laws, yes, and they didn't want to show themselves, and you got frustrated because of your telepathy technology? Yes. The reading of the thoughts of those that have a lizard in their ass? Ouch! Rectum? Those in the Illuminatus family? A lot of these fraud laws, yes, that make it a crime to use a forgery, yes, that violate the penalty of perjury, yes, they are actual military laws. Now, let's say we looked at some war crimes of those that have been supporting domestic terrorism. Fraud, yes. Fraud is an intentional deception to secure unfair or unlawful gain. It's kind of like the intentional deception, yes, of saying that you mailed notice of court hearings to me when you had the intentional deception of saying, of sending them the court notices to the wrong address so that you could secure the unlawful, yeah, and unfair gain of custody of my sons. Ouch, ouch. Now, the deprivation of a victim of a legal right, yes, I'm the victim of fraud. Ouch! Now, this fraud means that you're depriving me, the victim, of the legal right of the enforcement of the Consumer Protection Act, yes, the Uniform Disciplinary Act, yes, the Violence Against Women's Act, yes, the Parental Kidnapping and Protection Act, yes, and numerous other federal crimes, yes, that does affect the military. Now, when I email them as the military authority of the United States, you seem to have thought that they have no jurisdiction to enforce the actual fraud laws. But if the military was to look through right now, the Dodd-Frank, the Patriot Act, ooch, 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 the Domestic Terrorism Acts, yes, I think they do have the legal obligation to enforce. Now, fraud can violate civil law. Oh, oh, oh. An example, a fraud victim may sue the fraud perpetrator to avoid the fraud or recover monetary compensation. Whenever I document an innovation that is it's actually a valid intellectual property, it can be sold and manufactured. Yes. It can be installed at various locations. And that intellectual property has monetary compensation associated with it. Now, let's say you decide to screw with a trillionaire. Yes. And in your minds, as long as you keep it so that I only have a penny, yes, I will never be able to capitalize on my intellectual property. Boom! But I'm one of those that as soon as I run out of money, I decide I need to start selling again. Yes. And I need to document all my intellectual property. Yes. So I can sue you for the monetary compensation of obstructing my right to manufacture and sell my intellectual property. Now, for every police officer right now